The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was silent. Representatives from over 400 species sat in their floating chairs, their eyes fixed on the central podium. The chamber was massive, built inside a space station that orbited the neutral world of Prime. Light from distant stars filtered through the transparent dome above, casting strange shadows across alien faces. High Counselor, a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms, stood at the center. His voice echoed through the hall as he read the declaration. His species, had ruled the council for 3,000 years. They believed themselves to be the most advanced race in the known universe. They had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had never lost a war. By the power given to me by this council, announced, I hereby declare that the species known as humans are enemies of galactic peace. Their expansion into restricted space, their refusal to follow our laws, and their dangerous nature leave us no choice. War is now declared against the planet called Earth and all human colonies. The chamber erupted in sounds of agreement. Clicks, hisses, and strange noises filled the air as hundreds of aliens celebrated. They had been watching humanity for 50 years now, ever since the humans first left their home planet. At first, they had ignored them. Humans were small, weak creatures with short lives. They had no natural weapons, no armor on their skin, and no special abilities. The Council had seen species like them before. They usually died out within a few centuries. But humans did not die out. They spread. They built. They grew stronger with each passing year. And worst of all, they did not obey the rules of the Council. They colonized worlds that were supposed to be protected. They traded with species that the Council had banned. They asked questions that made the older races uncomfortable. So the Council decided to end the human problem before it got worse. Ambassador Sarah was the only human in the chamber. She was a small woman with dark hair and calm eyes. She had been listening to the declaration with her hands folded in her lap. When the cheering died down, she stood up slowly from her chair. "May I speak?" she asked. Looked at her with something like pity in his eyes. He expected her to beg for mercy. He expected tears and fear. Instead, her face showed nothing but mild curiosity. "You may," he said, "though it will change nothing." Sarah walked to the center of the chamber. Every eye was on her. She looked around at the assembled aliens, taking her time. Then she did something that no one expected. She laughed. It was not a nervous laugh. It was not a scared laugh. It was the deep, genuine laugh of someone who had just heard a very good joke. The sound echoed through the silent chamber, and the aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "I am sorry," Sarah said, wiping her eyes. "I truly am, but you have no idea what you have just done." 4 arms tightened with anger. "You dare mock this council? We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. We have weapons that can destroy planets. We have ruled these stars for longer than your species has existed." Sarah nodded. "Yes, I know. I have read your history, very impressive. You have conquered many worlds. But tell me, High Counselor, have you ever fought a species that actually wanted to fight back?" The question hung in the air. Opened his mouth to respond, but no words came out. The truth was, most species surrendered when they saw the Council's fleet. War was usually just a show of force followed by quick submission. "Let me tell you something about humans," Sarah continued. "We are not strong. We are not fast. We do not have claws or venom or hard shells. But we have something that none of you seem to understand. We have 10,000 years of fighting each other." She paused to let the words sink in. "While your species were peacefully building empires and expanding through empty space, we were locked on a single planet, killing each other in every way imaginable. We invented weapons to kill each other. We invented strategies to outsmart each other. We invented cruelty on a scale that would make your ancestors weep. And then, when we finally reached the stars, we brought all of that knowledge with us." The chamber was completely silent now. Even the floating service drones seemed to have stopped moving. "You think your fleet is impressive?" Sarah asked. "We have built warships in secret shipyards that your scanners cannot detect. You think your weapons are powerful. We have bombs that can crack moons in half. We have viruses that can target specific species. We have soldiers who will march into certain death with a smile on their face if it means taking one more enemy with them. She turned slowly, making eye contact with as many aliens as she could. But here is the part that should really worry you. We have been holding back. For 50 years we have played nice. We have pretended to be weak. We have let you think that you were in control. Do you know why? No one answered. Because we were studying you, learning your weaknesses, mapping your supply lines, identifying your key worlds. We knew this day would come. We have been preparing for it since the moment we first made contact with your ships. Finally found his voice. You are bluffing. Your population is tiny compared to the Council's combined forces. Your technology is primitive. You cannot possibly hope to win. Sarah smiled. It was not a kind smile. High Counselor, do you know what happened to the last species on Earth that underestimated us? They were called Neanderthals. They were bigger than us, stronger than us, better adapted to the cold, and we wiped them from existence so completely that most humans forgot they ever existed. She began walking back toward her chair. You have made a terrible mistake today. You have declared war on a species that does not know how to surrender, a species that will fight to the last child if necessary, a species that takes joy in proving others wrong. She sat down and crossed her legs casually. So please, High Counselor, send your fleets, send your armies, send everything you have. We will be waiting. And when the war is over, when your great council is nothing but ashes and memories, the survivors will tell stories about the day you made the worst decision in galactic history. The chamber remained frozen, looked at the other council members searching for support, but he saw doubt in their eyes now. Fear was beginning to spread. This meeting is adjourned, he announced quickly. Prepare the fleet. As the aliens filed out of the chamber, many of them glanced at Sarah. She sat alone in her chair, already typing a message on her personal device. The message was simple and went directly to Earth Command. War declared. Begin Protocol Omega. They have no idea what is coming. 3 days later, the first Council scout ships reached the outer edges of human space. They expected to find a few defensive stations and some outdated warships. Instead, they found nothing. Empty space. No ships, no stations, no signs of life. The scouts reported this strange finding back to the Council fleet. The admirals were confused but pleased. Perhaps the humans had fled. Perhaps they had realized their mistake and abandoned their colonies. The Council fleet moved deeper into human space, heading toward Earth. They passed empty planets and silent moons. No resistance at all. The admirals began to relax. This would be easier than they thought. Then the first ship disappeared. It was a supply vessel in the middle of the fleet. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. No explosion, no distress signal, just empty space where a ship used to be. Then another ship vanished, and another, and another. Panic began to spread through the fleet. Sensors detected nothing. There were no enemy ships, no weapons fire, no explanation. Ships simply stopped existing. By the time the admirals realized what was happening, they had lost a quarter of their fleet. The human ships were using some kind of technology the Council had never seen before. They were moving through space without being detected, striking from impossible angles, and disappearing before anyone could respond. The Council fleet turned to retreat, but it was too late. Human warships appeared from every direction, emerging from the darkness like ghosts. They were sleek and black, designed for one purpose only: war. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the greatest fleet in galactic history had been reduced to floating debris. A few ships managed to escape and carry the news back to the Council. Received the report in his private chambers. His gray skin had turned almost white. He read the numbers again and again, unable to believe them. 98% losses. The humans had destroyed almost his entire fleet with minimal casualties on their side. And then the human message arrived. It was a simple transmission, broadcast on all frequencies. Sarah's voice filled the chamber. High Counselor, I hope you received our response to your declaration. Consider this a formal warning. Surrender now and we will be merciful. Continue this war and we will show you exactly why we laughed when you declared it. You have one standard week to decide. Choose wisely. Sat alone in the darkness for a long time. He thought about his species' proud history. He thought about the thousands of worlds under Council control. He thought about the terrible weapon that humanity had turned out to be. Finally, he reached for his communication device. His hands were shaking as he typed the message that would end the war before it truly began. We surrender. Across the galaxy, in a small office on Earth, Sarah read the message and smiled. She poured herself a glass of wine and raised it in a toast to no one in particular. Humanity sends its regards, she said softly, and took a long, satisfying sip. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again. The Council had learned a lesson that countless others had learned throughout human history. Do not wake a sleeping giant, and never ever make humanity laugh at your threats. Because when humans laugh, it means they know something you do not, and that something usually ends badly for everyone except them. The stars were quiet that night, but somewhere in the darkness humanity was watching, waiting, ready for whatever came next, as they had always been, as they always would be.